Hi, and welcome back to the mini farm. Today, I'm going to show you how to make the perfect Caesar salad with homemade Caesar dressing, keto croutons, and then my secret of how I keep my romaine lettuce extra crispy for the salad. So if you want to see how to make the perfect Caesar salad, then just keep watching. But first, please give this video a thumbs up if you like videos like this, and click the red subscribe button below. If it's already gray, thank you so much for being here. I really enjoy having you here, and I love our chats in the comment section. Without further ado, here's homemade Caesar dressing and the perfect keto croutons. We're making the homemade Caesar salad dressing today, and for that, you're going to need mustard, some really good oil. I'm going to use an extra virgin olive oil with a little bit of avocado oil to balance out the intenseness of this extra virgin, but you can just use your regular olive oil for that if you want. I'm going to use some anchovies, Parmesan, Worcestershire sauce, lemon juice, salt and pepper, garlic, and then 2 egg yolks. This is a pasteurized egg. These are actually both pasteurized eggs. If you are getting them from the store, you would want to pasteurize your eggs, or you could use mayo in place of this. But if they're your homegrown eggs and you know how they are raised and cleaned and all that stuff, then you can use them straight out of the coop. And then the tools you're going to need are a mortar and pestle, or you can use the knife to crush it and make it into a paste. This is a lot easier to use. You're also going to need a bowl and a whisk. I'm using my whisk that is part of my hand blender attachment. If you have one of those new immersion blenders that have interchangeable attachments, that's what I would use, the ones that come with a whisk. Those are really nice, so you don't have to wear out your wrist whisking. And then you're also going to need a knife and a cutting board. First thing I'm gonna do is rough chop some of my garlic. It makes it a lot easier to crush, so it doesn't kind of roll around. And I'm just using 2 medium cloves. This is a raw dressing, so you don't want to be overwhelmed with the garlic. I'm going to heavily salt this. The salt does 2 things for us here. It's going to help the garlic bloom a little bit, and it gives us some friction when we're crushing it. So if you can see, I am pushing really hard on each piece just to kind of give it a crunch and smush it. And then I'm gonna go through and really turn it into a paste here. Okay, I'm gonna move to a more sturdy surface so I can really crush it, and then I'll go back to that a little closer. Okay, it is nice and pasty now. I'm gonna let that sit for just a second while I get my anchovies ready. These are anchovies in olive oil. They're so yummy. If you're an anchovy person, you know what I'm talking about. So I only need 2 pieces because you don't want to overwhelm it. And if you want more anchovies on your salad, which I will be putting fresh anchovies on my salad, then you can just add them then. Just rough chopping that for just a little bit, and then I'm gonna slide it into my bowl. Okay, now we're gonna really paste this up with the garlic. Make sure you're on a sturdy surface when you're doing this so you can really get a good angle. Okay, this is what our paste looks like now. I'm gonna transfer it into my main bowl. Just scrape off every little bit that you can with a spatula. And then I'll show you how I get the extra little bits in there out too, so we don't waste any of this flavor. Okay, now that I've scraped it completely clean, I'm gonna put my lemon juice in the bottom here, but I'm gonna start with 1 tablespoon in here. Okay, I'm gonna use it to clean off my mortar and pestle, and then I'm just gonna dump that into the main bowl. Okay, I'm putting a kitchen towel under there that I folded at an angle. So when I'm whisking it together, all of it kind of comes to one side and it's easier to kind of whisk. So I'm just incorporating now the anchovies, garlic, salt, and lemon juice together really, really well. Then we're gonna need some mustard, some Worcestershire sauce. I'm gonna add a touch more lemon juice here. The acidity is really what makes it emulsify, so this is an important piece of it. Whisk that together. And then I'm gonna add in my egg yolk. Okay. Now that that's all whisked together, I'm gonna start to slowly drizzle in some of the oil while whisking. So I'm gonna use my attachment. It's gonna get a little loud. Start with the olive oil. I'm slowly drizzling in the oil, like a slow stream. And then only doing a little bit at a time so it doesn't break on me. Fresh Parmesan in here. There's our fresh Parmesan on top. It looks like about a half a cup in here, but you know, measure with your heart when it comes to the parm. But I'm mixing that in. Super, super yummy. Now mine is extra yellow because we did use egg yolks, and my egg yolks are super yellow. Now we're going to add some freshly cracked black pepper. You want a lot here because this really helps bring it together. It's time to taste it. It's really, really good. It actually doesn't need any salt right now. So at this point, if you taste it and you feel like it needs a pinch of salt, add that. And that is your Caesar dressing. I'm gonna put this in the fridge and get everything else ready. I'm gonna go ahead and just put my heads of romaine in the bottom of a bowl. I'm actually using my salad spinner here. I'm gonna fill it up with some water and some ice. This is cold water. We're gonna just let these sit here while we finish making the croutons and everything else. This is gonna make your lettuce super, super crisp. So if you've had lettuce in your fridge for a couple days and it's starting to get a little wilted, this is a great way to bring it back to life. So let's just leave it here and move on to the croutons. For the croutons, you're going to want a keto-friendly bread if you're doing keto croutons. If not, I would suggest a nice crispy sourdough, which is perfect when you're combining the two. But since I'm doing keto and low carb, this is the one I'm going to use. There's several brands out there. I got this one at Costco. It's Natural Ovens. I only have the buns today. The kids actually finished up all my other keto bread, so this is what I'm going to use. Auntie Mills also makes a really good keto friendly bread. It's like 1 carb per slice, so there's lots of options on there, and I know Aldi also has one, so you can find them all kinds of places. So you're going to need some kind of keto friendly bread, Italian seasoning, some garlic powder, salt and pepper, and a spray oil. I'm using avocado oil today because we're going to bake them, and some Parmesan cheese. It's really nice to use stale bread for this, but if you don't have stale bread, you can use bread that you've toasted, which is what I'm gonna do today. Dice it or slice it into squares. You could rip it apart here too. I've seen people do that so they can have the jagged edges. I prefer mine in nice little uniform pieces. I'm just gonna toast these in my toaster oven for a little bit and let them get nice and dry. If you don't have a toaster oven, you can do them in the oven at 350 degrees until they look like they're starting to get golden and dry. All right, they are nice and toasted. I have myself a bowl here. You can see that they're brown on the outside. They're nice and warm still too, so this is gonna be perfect. I'm gonna put them in my bowl. It's a little bit easier to kind of toss them around in there. Spray them with some oil. Pump this thing. You can get one of those already pumped for you spray oils. Probably a little bit easier than this, but this is a nice sustainable option. Also going to drizzle them with just a little bit of olive oil. This is not my good stuff because I usually do not heat my good stuff at all, but just a little bit. I did not mention this earlier, but this is optional. It does give it a little flavor. I'm gonna barely drizzle some on top and then toss them again. I'm gonna do my towel trick so you guys can see again. Add a little bit of garlic powder on top. Some Italian seasoning. If you don't have an Italian seasoning blend, a little bit of oregano would work too. A little bit of salt, not too much. Freshly cracked black pepper. Toss that together really good. And now we're gonna go super heavy on the parm. Okay. Toss them really good. I'm going to put them back on the cookie sheet, but I'm not going to dump them on there because I want to make sure that I get some of this parm on top so it really melts into the croutons. Okay, I'm going to put this back in the toaster oven just so it can melt together. This has been soaking in that water for quite some time now, so I'm going to go ahead and drain it all. I'm just going to rip these, put them back in the strainer. They're so extra crispy because they've been soaking in that ice water. It really makes a huge difference. Rid of the extra water in this. All right, our croutons are ready. Lettuce is nice and crisp and fresh and washed and dried. And I pulled our dressing out of the refrigerator. And this is the bowl I used to kind of coat the croutons. I'm gonna use it to assemble the salad. Put dressing in my bowl. Put some lettuce in here and toss it. Use your hands. Really coat all the leaves with all that yummy goodness. Next, I'm gonna do the same thing with the croutons. Just a little bit on the bottom. Put a handful of the croutons in there. I'm going to add a couple pieces of anchovies to mine. This is totally optional, but I'm an anchovy person, so I will be adding some. And last, but certainly not optional, let's shave some fresh parm on top there. And just to make it look extra yummy, freshly cracked pepper right on top. And that is your Caesar salad with keto croutons, some really nice anchovies, and fresh shaved parm on top. If you like this recipe, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, you can click on my face to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye!